My name is Ann Stone, and I teach in a Department of Communication. My colleague, Dr. Z, teaches in the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, and we are pleased to share our presentation titled Critical Thinking and Data, Understanding the Intersections Between Communication and Mathematical Modeling. During this global health crisis, many of us have become daily consumers of science and math through news reporting and conversations with family, friends, and colleagues. We designed an interdisciplinary course for non-majors as part of our general education curriculum to respond to the world we find ourselves in.
Only a few months ago, we were watching the morning news to get information about the weather or political candidates. But today, we are all drenched in the news media's COVID-19 coverage with heat maps, data accuracy, and mathematical models. Today, non-technical audiences are listening to journalists, broadcasters, and politicians talking about flattening the curve, exponential growth, and risk factors. The students who sat through a math class thinking, when will I ever use exponential or logarithmic function, could have never predicted their knowledge would be so relevant.
Communication students will be familiar with hypodermic needle theory, developed in the 1930s, which describes how the media was viewed as having the ability to directly persuade and influence audiences. In our class, we talked about how message framing shapes our perceptions of reality and how media literacy and critical thinking are important. We also discussed various rhetorical appeals being used to inform, educate, and persuade audiences to follow public health guidelines, and focused on the infodemic we were experiencing alongside the COVID-19 pandemic. This article from Yale Medicine is an example of one of the reports that inspired our class. Since every day brings us new information, we also address the increasing anxiety communities are experiencing around the quantity and quality of information, as well as the uncertainty being communicated by reputable sources like the World Health Organization and Centers for Disease Control. Given all of the uncertainty we are experiencing, our course focused on learning theories and models to help us learn about communication strategies that will help us navigate all of the information being communicated about COVID-19.
Designing an interdisciplinary course is not easy, especially when it's on a topic that's developing every day. We didn't have much experience with online teaching, so teaching it completely online added an extra challenge. There were some parts of the course that worked like a beautiful showstopper and some parts that were less successful. We used open educational resources, including two SIAM math modeling textbooks and the Making Data Talk workbook through the National Cancer Institute website. For math modeling, we use free online calculators, Excel spreadsheets, and Netlogo, free software for agent-based modeling.
Now that you have a sense of the inspiration for our course and the materials that we used, we wanted to show you a snapshot of our syllabus. You'll see assignments and due dates just as our students saw them in our learning management system, Canvas. In what follows, we'll discuss and show examples of several assignments.
Here's an example of a student's work. The question was, what's an efficient way to communicate health and safety information to the public? Students focus on the definition of efficient and visually outline and organize ideas of initial brainstorming in the modeling process. Our modeling examples included exponential growth models, logistic growth models, and SIR models. With the SIR model, we studied R naught, basic reproduction number, what it meant to be R naught greater than 1 or less than 1, and how we could estimate R naught using real data. We used Excel for modeling purposes. In the last week of the class, we also introduced students to Netlogo, programming language for agent-based modeling.
One of the basic premises of the course is that we are exposed to and consume a lot of media messages. So we asked our students to keep a log of the media that they were reading and watching related to COVID-19 over the 4 weeks the course ran. This is a sample entry from one student's media log. There are two other elements we built into our course to emphasize the interdisciplinary nature of communicating math and science. First, we incorporated guest speakers like our colleague Jaime Garcia Iglesias from the University of Manchester, who described the similarities and differences between the HIV/AIDS epidemic and COVID-19. We were also excited to have Caleb Rudow, a research and data analyst from Open Data Watch, join one of our class sessions to talk about resources for getting involved in collecting and analyzing COVID-19 data. He also shared a bit about his career journey, which is so important for our undergraduate students. In addition to our guest speakers talking about their career journeys, we embraced a sensor approach, connecting what we were learning to career through an assignment that asked students to draft and deliver elevator pitches that emphasize transferable skills like scientific reasoning and inquiry.
A sensory approach also guided us to engage students in topics related to the importance of critical thinking and data. Our class had discussions about movements like Blackout Tuesday and Shutdown STEM, as well as public health debates about wearing masks. Our students reported high anxiety at the beginning of our class because they had not been in a math class for so long. Post-survey results showed that students were more confident in communicating about math and science. This was a win for us. We look forward to sharing more with you all during the panel.